Girl, I wanna be your owner.
It's 12 o'clock and it's time for the global news on US Media Academy Radio. I am Okpe Adeleke. First, the headlines. Buhari mourns Nigeria's long-time friend, Walter Carrington. As FEC approved 8.49 billion naira COVID-19 for procurement of test kits. 292 more Nigerians arrive in Abuja from the UAE. As police arraign two brothers over Arotile's death. On the foreign scene, Greece posts its highest daily number of virus cases. And on sports, PSG produced late comeback to beat Atalanta and reach Champions League semi-finals. Now the news in detail. President Muhammadu Buhari has mourned the former United States ambassador to Nigeria, Walter Carrington. The president, in a tribute described the late diplomat as Nigeria's longtime friend who was courageous. He said the late Carrington openly supported the people of this country when they fought for the return of democracy following the annulment of the June 12, 1993 presidential elections won by the late Moshood Abiola. President Buhari said the story of the Nigerian democracy under the Fourth Republic will not be complete without a mention to the heroic roles of the likes of Ambassador Carrington. The Federal Executive Council, FEC, has approved a sum of 8.49 billion naira for the procurement of test kits by the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC. The approval was given at the end of its 11th virtual meeting, which was presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari. It was learned that the sum is meant for the procurement of 12 items in various quantities for the testing of COVID-19 in the country. This comes after the Minister of Health, Osage Ehainere, presented a memo on behalf of the center at the council's chambers of the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The council also held a 1-minute silence for late ex-ministers, retired Rear Admiral Olufemi Olumide and retired Major General Sam Momo. Rear Admiral died at 82 years old, while Major General Momo passed away aged 77 years. "292 Nigerians have returned from the United Arab Emirates, taking the number of evacuees from the Arab nation to 2,993. The Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, disclosed this in a tweet via its official handle on Wednesday. It explained that the evacuees arrived at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, at 2:30 p.m. Although the agency said the evacuees are tested negative to COVID-19 and they would be undergoing a mandatory 4-day self-isolation in line with the guidelines issued by the federal government. Today's evacuation from the UAE comes 2 days after 288 more Nigerians returned from the country. And on Sunday, NIDCOM said 327 Nigerians returned from the United Kingdom. During a briefing of the Presidential Task Force, PTF, on COVID-19 in April, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Godfrey Onyema, directed all Nigerians interested in returning to the country to work with Nigeria's embassies and high commissions wherever they are. The Department of State Services has released a former deputy governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Dr. Obadiah Mailafia, after questioning him for more than 6 hours. Dr. Malaria was on Tuesday questioned by officials of the agencies in Jos, the Plateau State capital, in connection with comments he reportedly made on Monday about the leadership of Boko Haram. It is not clear if the DSS is through with their questioning, but the former CBN chief was released after Reverend Gideon Paramalam presented himself as the shorty. Following his release from custody, the former CBN deputy governor thanked his family members, the media, for their support while in detention, adding that he didn't regret the comments he made. The former CBN deputy governor buttressed that he does not support or promote violence and will never support evil.
Volunteering and others from the media have stood by me firmly, and I also want to thank them particularly for their courage. You will not believe what this thing means. If I had stood up retracting anything, I don't think I will even be able to leave this place, because the youth of this country are fed up. All these killings, people are fed up. Those who tolerate it are committing great evil. So we must remain steadfast. I love Nigeria. We must love our country. We must seek its progress. We must work for peace. Even my name, Mailafi Obadiah, means servant of God, who is also a man of peace.
A general court-martial sitting in the nation's capital, Abuja, has sentenced a soldier serving with the Nigerian army to 55 years in prison for culpable homicide, theft, and housebreaking. The soldier, Lance Corporal Babangida Ibrahim, was accused of robbing and killing one Bello Abdullahi Aliyu in Gidan Darib, Anka local government area of Zamfara State on August 11, 2014. He pleaded guilty to the 4-count charge preferred against him and was sentenced in line with the provisions of the Armed Forces Act. Delivering the judgment, the president of the court, Major General Priye Fakrugboya, advocated the need for members of the armed forces to adhere strictly to rules and regulations guiding the conduct of the military personnel in and out of the uniform. The police in Kaduna State have arraigned two brothers, Nehemiah and David Adejo, before a chief magistrate court sitting in the state capital in connection with the death of Nigeria's first female combat helicopter pilot, Tolulope Arotile. The first accused person, Nehemiah, was arraigned on a 2-count charge of culpable homicide under Section 190 of Kaduna State Penal Code and causing death by dangerous driving under Section 21 of Kaduna State Traffic Law, while David was charged with negligent conduct while causing danger to person and property. Both of them pleaded not guilty, and at the hearing of the case before the Chief Magistrate Court on Wednesday, the prosecuting counsel, Martins Leo, told the court to remand Nehemiah in prison custody because of a pending investigation on culpable homicide against him. However, counsel to the defendant, Ibrahim Omachi, argued that his clients were first-time offenders and had already spent more than 4 weeks in detention. After listening to the arguments from both sides, the presiding magistrate, Benjamin Azan, granted the two accused persons bail in the sum of 1 million naira with two shorties. The two shorties must be resident with the jurisdiction of the court and possess bank verification number BVN. The case was, however, adjourned to 24th and 25th of August for hearing. Illinois State Governor Samuel Ortom has urged the federal government to grant licenses to responsible citizens to carry sophisticated weapons such as AK-47 as part of measures to curb the rise in insecurity in the country. The governor said that the policy should be backed by a strict legal framework to prevent illegal possession of arms by the citizenry with exception. This and others were some of the submissions contained in the paper Ortom presented on Tuesday during a virtual meeting convened by the Center for Values in Leadership in collaboration with Nigeria's Governors Forum. He also recommended adequate funding of security agencies and continuous training of their personnel to enable them to be abreast of the global dynamics in the fight against insecurity. The governor urged the federal government to embrace ranching as it remained the global best practice of animal husbandry, adding that it was also important for the apex government to enact a law to end open grazing. Factional Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly Victor Edororo has warned State Governor Godwin Obaseki not to violate constitutional provisions if he does not want to be impeached. Edororo, who spoke after Wednesday's sitting of his faction at an undisclosed address at government reserved area of the state, said the decision taken at the sitting were binding, noting that if the executive refused to implement them, it would have great implications. The speaker also set up a 5-man committee to investigate the matter and report back to the House. The House adjourned to 18th of August 2020. Suspended acting chairman of Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC Ibrahim Mago has kicked against secret trial and his exclusion from many sessions where many adversarial witnesses were invited by the Judicial Commission of Inquiry to testify against him by the Justice Ayo Salami led panel. Mago, in a 16-page petition dated August 10, 2020 and addressed to Justice Ayo Salami, also kicked against the panel's exclusion of his lawyers from many proceedings of the commission, describing the action as a deliberate attempt to deny him fair hearing. In the document, Magu lamented that the conduct of the commission was contrary to the spirit and letter of Section 2D of the Tribunal of Inquiry Act, which the President relied on in setting it up. The letter, which was signed by his lawyer Wahab Shitu, noted that contrary to the act establishing the judiciary panel, it had since inception on July 3, 2020 been consistently conducting its proceedings in private, adding that most of the witnesses were examined without the presence of Magu, who is actually the subject matter of the inquiry. He noted that when recently Magu was allowed a limited access to the proceedings with his counsel, he was not allowed to cross-examine the witnesses the panel had called to testify against him. Ondo State Governor Rotimi Akeredolu says the Nigerian police force is being overstretched as the nation confronts the numerous security challenges. Speaking during an interview, Governor Akeredolu called for the decentralizing of the police. And according to him, the policing system in the United States, Britain, and other countries of the world is decentralized. He therefore called for the creation of the state police, calling on the National Assembly to create the right framework for the nation's policing structure. Katawa Properties Limited, a real estate agent based all over Nigeria with offices all around the city of Ibadan, in continuation with its branding and promotion and sales of landed properties all over, has penned a new endorsement deal with a supermodel of repute who has made name for herself in the modeling business for over a decade. Julia Anthony is the new face on the billboard of Katawa Properties, and in response to the success story, the group managing director of Katawa Properties, Engineer Taiwo Kadri, while speaking with the Yesma Radio News correspondent, he stated that the choice of Julia Anthony was based on intelligence and the looks, while the management was pleased with the choice.
Very happy. Like, honestly, I'm surprised. I was not even expecting it, like, at all. I was not expecting it, because they just discussed and they just told me that okay, they want me to do brand ambassador and influencing for them, and like I was expecting just the regular payments, like okay, fine, normal thing. But I was so surprised after signing the arrangements and the documents today that they just told me that they included I don't even want to mention it. They just gave me a land in Royal Estate. Can you imagine? Like, I'm the happiest person on earth now, young millionaire. Oh my God, I'm so happy and I'm grateful. Like, I'm really grateful. To the entire staff of Qatar Properties first, I want to say thank you very much. It's a great honor, it's a great privilege to be your brand ambassador and to influence your brand. And I'm telling you that you would not regret doing this.
While speaking, Julia Anthony, who was full of praises to the Almighty God and the group managing director of Yemi Sonde Media Group for recommending her, while promising a greater fit between her and Katawa Properties. Now on the foreign scene. Greece yesterday registered 262 new COVID-19 infection cases, the highest figure since the pandemic began and part of a steadily rising trend this month. The Public Health Organization also said 2 more people had died, bringing the total virus death to 216. The number of patients under intensive care has nearly doubled, with 24 reported yesterday from 13 last week. Authorities have blamed the spike in infections to the flouting of social media distancing rules in restaurants, bars, and public gatherings. Health Minister Vasilis Kikilas said earlier that the average age of those infected in August had dropped to 36 years old. The Greek government on Monday announced a night curfew for restaurants and bars in some of its top tourist destinations. Finally, sports. Paris Saint-Germain snatched a dramatic victory from the jaws of defeat as substitute Eric Choupo-Moting goal 3 minutes into added time allowed them to beat Atalanta by 2-1 in their Champions League quarter-final in Lisbon on Wednesday. Atalanta were on the brink of extending their remarkable run into the last 4 after Mario Pasalic gave the Italians a 27-minute lead in the first half of the game. But PSG were rescued as Marquinhos came forward to scramble in a late-minute equalizer, and they did not need extra time to complete the turnaround, with Kylian Mbappe setting up fellow substitute Choupo-Moting to win the tie right at the end. On that note, I wrap up the global news on Yes Media Academy Radio. But before I go, a recap of the headlines. Buhari mourns Nigeria's longtime friend, Walter Carrington. On COVID-19, FEC approves 8.49 billion naira for procurement of test kits. 292 more Nigerians arrive in Abuja from the UAE. As police arraign 2 brothers over Arotile's death. And on the foreign scene, Greece posts its highest daily number of virus cases. And on sports, PSG produced late comeback to beat Atalanta and reach Champions League semi-finals. The news was produced and edited by Olatunde Idowu and delivered by Okpe.